Hello guys, today I'm down at the Dutch Cottage Museum on Canvey Island, and today this building is 400 years old, believe it or not. It was built by the Dutch when they came and inhabited Canvey Island in the 17th century. So today we're going to go and have a look and see what we've got on offer at this event.
Today is the 400th anniversary of the Dutch Cottage, so today we've got a bit of a fete and entertainment for the people of Canvey. Well, everywhere really. We've got people from Holland and everywhere here today.
Yeah, we have. Canvey Community Archive stall here at the event. If you're interested in Canvey history and you want to find out more, these are the people to go to. We've got some old photographs, postcards. Got some plenty of old images, and we've even got some maps of Canvey. There we go. Old bookmark. That looks good, that. So here's the BTP stall. Let's have a look at what we've got. So we've got this pillbox that we made. BTP Joe's dad made this kindly out of MDF wood. Took a long while to paint it, which I did myself, but it looks great now it's completed. We've got this Victorian thermometer backing that we found out on the marshes. That's a brilliant find. And then if you want to come in a bit closer, the back of this was made to look like an old map. I had to paint all this, and it's got some of our favourite places such as Toll House Battery in East Tilbury. We've got Heavy Anti-Aircraft Battery in Hadley, Rochford Airfield, which is now Southend Airport, the old oil refinery that used to be on Canvey Island that actually first got us interested in Beyond the Point, and an abandoned factory. We've also got this iPad playing. It's got some of our HD documentaries from our YouTube channel playing on it today. Managed to get them on there. You can see our Hornchurch video if you want to come in a bit closer. I'm not sure how clear that is. That's looking good. We can also get our website up on here. So we've got the website and videos. Down on the stall we've got a few information pieces. We've got our leaflets that look good, our new business cards looking snazzy. Joe's got them designed, very nice. And we've also got some old pottery found in southeast Essex. Some of this is Roman and medieval. And then finally we've got some models of some military structures that used to be on Canvey Island. We've got a World War II pillbox that's still there today, and also the ROC Royal Observer Corps nuclear bunker, which unfortunately has been demolished since. So that's all. We're now going to go around the event and see what some of the other stalls have to offer.
This is the only Dutch coin that I've actually found on Canvey Island, and this dates when checked out on the internet. It's an early 1600 Dutch coin. So I'm really, really chuffed to bits that on this occasion I've had the opportunity of finding what I would call a unique piece of our history, because it's actually come over from Holland. And on the detailing, it looked like a chap with a baseball cap and a baseball and a bat behind his head, which was quite unusual. And eventually I did find that it was an early Dutch coppered hammered coin. The other item that I came across was which originally I thought was a horse brass, and it turns out to be an early 16th century, early 17th, late 16 middle sword harness, which would have been attached to a belt with different loops, so that the gentleman could use the sword without actually catching himself and taking the sword out the sheath. So that's an unusual find, early 1600s. I was told that this is Dutch and it's a slow burn, and then what would happen is inside there'd be a bit of leather or cork which would have a fuse, a slow fuse, which was used to light the muskets. So that would smoulder, and this would have little loops on which are broken off. What's fascinating about it is the enamelling that they've done. It's copper made, shaped like a crown, like a chimney, with a hole either end. And this would have been attached obviously to their equipment, because back then it would have been musket firing rifles, as in cannonballs and everything else. The other piece I've got, the British Museum have had trouble trying to identify it, which is quite unique. It's like a bronzy copper and it's very ornate. It's got a hole in it. I did think that it was like an end stop for string or some ceremonial dress, because the ornate workmanship in it is quite it's quite amazing to think that on this small item, again, this would probably be mid 1600s. So I'm quite chuffed to find that, and obviously once it cleaned up, it was great. There's a great Dutch heritage on Canvey, and it's just nice to share it with people, to let them know.
It's amazing to see some of the original pieces.
Oh yeah, well that, as I said,
especially with the human figure on that coin.
That's the only early Dutch.
That is excellent.
It's the only early Dutch. You can just see the gentleman, you can just see it with his baseball cap and a bat. But when you Google it and you actually see the actual Dutch coins, early 1600s, it ends as mystery for me. Now, I now know this is a genuine Dutch coin from the early 1600s, when they came over, obviously, to help England out, and obviously Canvey Island, to reclaim the sea with Cornelius Vermeulen. So it's just to think someone's held that 400 years ago. It's brilliant. That's absolutely great. Amazing.
Cheers for that. Right, so I'm just quickly going to show you a couple of the interesting historic bits in the Dutch Cottage Museum whilst it's quiet. If you want to come over here, this down here, come a bit closer, this was actually the turbine and pump of a V2 rocket bomb that crashed on Canvey Island in World War II at the end of the war. Fortunately, it didn't kill anyone, but some of the V1 rockets that landed in the town did. And Gary Fowler, the gentleman that's just shown you those Dutch pieces, he actually dug this up in the 1990s. And you can see more of it outside here. Believe it or not, these trees that you're looking at here, they are actually the old pipes that used to drain water out of Canvey Island when the Dutch came over and reclaimed the land from the sea. And they're actually old pipes that are about 400 years old.
Coastwatch was formed as a result of all the coast guard stations being closed down around the country. There's about 5 left now, so there was no one actually watching the coast. Canvey one has been going for about 7 years and is based down Oldhaven on what used to be the older PLA office. So anyone who ever wants to be a watchkeeper should all come down there,
Get involved.
and have a look and see if they want to join.
That's great. So here's your display today.
Yes.
Just get a good view of it in.
I'm sure you will agree that Canvey Island may well have been a very different place today if it had not been for our Dutch connections. When I stand here admiring this lovely little cottage, which was built some 400 years ago, together with its sister cottage in Haven Road, which incidentally was built in 1621, I reflect on the unforgettable history of Canvey and this unique building that we can now share with our children and indeed pass on to our children's children. Today is a day of great celebration and of our history and the Dutch cottage.
How different Canvey Island was 400 years ago. There was 5 islands or 6, and we ask God's blessing on the memory of Sir Henry Appleton, chief landowner in this district. We ask God's blessing on Joas Kroppenberg, who made Henry an offer he couldn't really refuse, that he would sort out the drainage, make it into one island if he got 1/3 of the island for himself. We ask God's blessing on Cornelius Vermuyden, the engineer who Joas Kroppenberg employed to sort it out. The history of this island has not always been easy. 1628, there were enough Dutchmen here to ask for their own church, and it was built just down the road. 1631, they got their church. 1651 to 1654, a bit awkward. The Dutch and the English were at war. I feel a bit like John Cleese in Fawlty Towers, Don't Mention the War. Bit awkward. 1675, the Battle of Canvey, when the Protestants tried to get the church back for themselves, the English Protestants. But the Dutch had the church until 1704. We ask God's blessing on all those memories, the good ones, the bad ones. The dreadful flooding in 1713, 1736, and of course 1953.
Well, it's interesting to be in England as a Dutchman. The thing is that we have so much in common, the Dutch and the English, and it's not only the friendship and the fear what we have with the water. There's also extreme much in common in cultural way. En op zijn Nederlands is het natuurlijk veel makkelijker te vertellen. Because I think you understand everything what I say. Don't be embarrassed. Okay, it's not personal. Maar ik wil het woord geven aan een medelid van de embassy van Nederlanden, meneer Roel van der Ven. En hij wil iets gaan vertellen over het verleden, over de toekomst, over het heden. En ik hoop dat jullie daarvan gaan genieten. Have fun.
To be here with Excellencies the Mayor. So many of you have come, and it is my honour just to say a few words to you on behalf of the Netherlands. My name is Roel van der Ven. I'm a Councillor for Culture at the Dutch Embassy, and yeah, it's very appropriate to thank you for inviting me and organising these events. Having now worked for 1 year at the Dutch Embassy, my personal experiences connects with it. I feel more and more every month connected to the UK and to the English. And what I think today illustrates something, of course I was aware of, but that built heritage, and we can all see this built heritage, is such a clear example that we are not only today connected, but that we've been connected for so many years.
I've had my professional career involved with old buildings, and particularly lovely small ones like this. Very often it's the small ones that get overlooked. You know, money gets spent on the big grand palaces and so on, and wonderful buildings like this are the ones that are often most at risk. The other reason I wanted to come is actually I have Dutch forebears around the date that this place was built, admittedly not in Essex, but so I also feel a particular connection with it.